Sometimes, however, it's not a subdomain that you're interested in. Sometimes you may have multiple forests that you need to connect together, or you may have an entire infrastructure that needs to resolve over to some other entire, potentially disconnected infrastructure. Well, one way in which you can at least get resolution to occur involves the use of what is called a conditional forwarder. And although these are used most commonly when you've got two forests that need to attach together from an Active Directory perspective, you could use these really for any situation where you want to redirect a request for some resource over in some other zone directly to the DNS server responsible for that zone. Let's say, for example, in our configuration here that we have a company.pri and we have another forest called specialized.net. And in this environment, we actually have three different servers. On our side, we have DC and DC2. And on their side, they use a completely different naming structure. So bighit.specialized.net. These may or may not be two Active Directory forests that are connected together, but the clients in company.pri have need to resolve addresses for clients and servers that exist in specialized.net. In order to be able to do this, we can't use the internet to resolve these clients. They're internal. We need instead to point that name resolution directly to that server to give us all the answers that we need. This can be an excellent solution in the case where you don't actually want to host the zone content, like what you would do with a secondary zone. Rather, you'd prefer all the content to stay in that remote location, and the resolution request just to be sent to that remote location, and the reply given back to the client. Conditional forwarders are great when you just don't want to have to deal with the contents of the zone, but they do have the limitation that you do have to have network connectivity in order to complete the resolution. So let's say that we want to create that conditional forwarder that redirects all the name resolution requests for clients in specialized.net over to the server bighit.specialized.net. Let me come down here to my conditional forwarders item down here where I'll create a new conditional forwarder. I need to identify what the DNS domain for that conditional forwarder will be. So that's specialized.net. And then the IP address of the master server for the domain, which would be 192.168.0.99. It just happens to be the domain here. Now notice we also, as before, get a little error message here because we have no way in this domain to determine the authoritativeness of that other domain. Once we do that, we can hit the OK button here. And we now have that conditional forwarder that we can use for resolving requests in the other domain. So let's actually verify that this forwarder is really functioning here in this domain. I happen to know that there's another desktop that sits over in specialized.net called Epic. And before, if I attempted to resolve the name for that server, Epic, over in that remote location, I get an error message because nobody here in company.pri has any idea what an Epic is. Now that I have the conditional forwarder in place, let me bring up a command prompt here and take a look at what the response might look like. I could do nslookup epic.specialized.net. And you'll notice that we now get a non-authoritative answer for epic.specialized.net of 192.168.0.2. We're receiving that non-authoritative answer because the answer is coming from our local server. The authoritative server is not actually giving us the answer directly. But this proves that, in fact, we can use this conditional forwarder as a mechanism to redirect these DNS requests to the server most capable of handling them.